been?
Great, great. Long, hot weekend so far, but it's on the uptick now. We got a couple of great people coming on today, so I'm excited.
Today's a big one, man. There's times we talk about, we really do. We love sports and we love music equally. I know there's that little bit of edge where you have a lot more expertise with some of the stats on the sports side. And I kind of have that edge with musicians I've watched and just been following for decades, right? And sometimes there's these artists that come along, man, they just kind of shape the music and shape the times. A little background, there's a scene, I call it a music scene, from like late 90s to probably about 2012 or so. There's a label called Tooth and Nail, and they had all these bands, which I feel like they wanted to spread a positive messages, but also kind of needed their own lane. They didn't want to maybe go in just one box. Needed something. People like Demon Hunter, MXPX, obviously like Thousand Foot Crutch, and a lot of these bands were just, they had something to say, but kind of needed their own platform to do it. Maybe kind of a different than your typical platforms, if you will. So Tooth and Nail put out some great work, and one of my favorite bands ever, not even just from that label, but just all time, was a band called The Becoming. This band, they had in my opinion, the perfect album. They had one album, but it was perfect. All tracks, no issues. I mean, greatly produced. Lyrics were top notch. It was positive, but also very, very meaningful. Kind of fit the times, kind of a My Chemical Romance type thing with a little bit of even like the hymn sound to it, but also still very positive at the same time. So we were able to track down one of my buddies and my muses, people I like to follow for playing, the one and only Dustinn Lowry. So I want to bring on this guitar god himself. Dustinn, how you doing, man?
All right, how you doing, man? Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man.
Pleasure.
We've got some questions, Dustinn, over the years. I think you'll get a kick out of. I've watched you play. The internet's great because it's all kinds of footage, right, and stuff. Before The Becoming, before what you've been doing with all the side projects, which are numerous. Take me back in the day, man. When did you first pick up a guitar and start playing in your life?
Oh man, I grew up playing and singing music all through church growing up. My parents were on the worship team, so I bounced back between drums and bass and guitar here and there because my dad played guitar, my mom played piano, so I've always been around it. And I just kind of started picking up the guitar like for real when I was like 12 or 13, and I never stopped.
Never stopped, man. I remember my first guitar because, like I said, I started playing when I was 12. I had an Ibanez Roadstar. It was red. My dad got it from a pawn shop. Do you remember your first real guitar? What kind was it?
Yeah.
Your first real one.
My first real guitar was a Kramer snakeskin Flying V, and I wish I would have gotten because it was literally like snakeskin on a Flying V, and it was the most sick guitar I think I'd ever played. Didn't sound awesome, but it was 10-year-old kid have a snakeskin Flying V. I still have my first real guitar where I was like really playing, and it's a guitar I wash about 6 cars every other day during my dad would get it for me. It's right here actually.
Really? That's cool. A little sneak peek. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
The original. Oh, that's a beaut, man. I love it.
Wow.
It's still good condition, man, too.
Oh man, it's still got dirt on it from when I cleaned my guitar, clean the hardware stuff, and when I changed my strings. But it's got the natural, disgusting, bloody patina all over.
That's what I love for, man. I love it, man. That's awesome. Nice. Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Now so when you started I was gonna say from the time you started playing and joining bands and all the side projects you've done, is there a gig or two that kind of stick out in the forefront of your mind that you always go back to telling a story about that through the years?
I mean, I gotta be honest. There's been so many shows that have blown my mind. Each one just kept like bettering itself. I would say the first one though is when I was 16 or 17. It was very shortly after my mom had to stop taking me to rehearsals because I couldn't drive. All the guys that I was with were older than me. And I remember when I played with a band called Dirge. We were a death metal band. And we were a 3-piece, and their bass player had quit, and they saw my punk rock band playing called Fed Up, and they loved us. But they didn't like the music. They just liked, you know, the aggressive
vibe.
And they were like, "Hey man, do you play metal at all?" And I was like, "Do you? Man, I want to."
Yeah.
Small town, you know, there were 90 kids in my class, you know, so I had to figure out how to play in these bands, how to get out of that area and figure it out. I would teach kids in my school how to play bass just so I would have a bass player, you know, like I'd be like, just follow it, just follow what I'm playing. Just, you don't have to hit it, just hit it enough, you know, like,
yeah.
But I played for this band called Dirge, and they were all in their late 20s, and I was, you know, 15 and 16, and I played with them all the way through till I was like 19 or 20. But we toured around a little bit, you know, regionally, and this one show, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the bands called X-Toll and Living Sacrifice.
Absolutely. Jason's my friend, Jason Truby, shout out. Great guy. So yeah, absolutely, man.
Bruce is a really good friend of mine because of this interaction. I mean, I'm still friends with this dude 26 years later, and it's just wild. But so Living Sacrifice was one of my favorite bands at the time. I was listening to a lot of, you know, non-Christian death metal at the time, because I was raised in the church. You know, I would out of Sunday school and go to my cousin Brian's and listen to Morbid Angel and Cannibal Corpse and just stuff you couldn't get in the world at the time, you know. And so, and with this band Dirge, they just opened up a bunch of doors. It's a metal band, and we got the opportunity to open up for X-Toll and Living Sacrifice.
That's so cool.
Wow,
man. That's that in itself, man. Because I think about you and Truby, and I mean it. Like, Truby's great. We've actually been working on getting him on the show too. And that style, man. And I think you're onto something. Like, the influence is there. I look at people that I can't say enough about it. And you can kind of hear a little bit of it, you know, those early days of it. Broad influences, man. And I think I may already know a couple of these. I cannot say enough. I know you wrote most of the content for Volume 1. You talked about that. The best line, Dane, I'm telling you, I showed it to Dane. The double meaning when it's adulterer that casts a stone. I've played that song billions of times, man. And like, that is just your lyrical style. Where did you learn? Who influenced you to write, man? Because it is awesome. You know?
Well, you know, I will say this, like, lyrically, writing songs lyrically is the hardest thing for me, man, because words don't really come out of me very well. I have a lot to say. I just don't know how to articulate it and put it out there. So I'll be finished with the song musically, and it'll take me a year sometimes to finish it lyrically, because I just don't know how I want to approach. And I try to let the song, you know, take me where it needs to be. But man.
Influences, you know? Yeah, no, it's good, man. It's good. Who's been the biggest influence on you as a musician? You know, writer, guitarist. Yeah. I mean, there's all those marquee ones, but maybe it's a local person we don't know, or maybe it's a famous guitarist. Yep. Who's been the biggest influence on you, you know?
I want to say that I've realized this recently, especially like writing, as you know, I'm older now, writing, you know, different styles of music. I feel like Billy Corgan was probably one of the biggest, like, rock melodic influence, because he always had those dissonant guitar tones his voice is, you know, one thing, but his melodies were always just spot on, man. Like, sing every single one, but they were dark and they were moody and melancholy. And I feel like him is Billy's a big one. And then my favorite band of all time is Stryper. So Michael Sweet and Oz Fox are definitely giant influences on me.
I love that.
Yeah. Other than that, man, I don't really know. Like, I've never been a single guy kind of deal. Like, I liked the band influence. There wasn't one person that did it for me, unless it's Prince. Prince, God, in my opinion.
Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah.
But as far as like asking me like which guitarist, I mean, I would say, you know, it was always the band, because one guitar can't make this entity, you know. You know, Stevie Ray Vaughan, that guy, okay, he can play guitar and blow people away, but when you're a band and you're writing songs and you're in a room, it's the magic, and it's the the creativity that's happening between all the brains that make this thing.
Yeah,
you know?
I got you, man.
Oh God, yeah, definitely.
So I never practiced shredding. I never wanted to be a shredder. I never wanted to be this amazing guitarist. I just wanted to be this dude that could sing any harmony over any melody and play tight guitars and catch an ear, with an awesome band. And that's what I always wanted to do.
Well, you did that. You've done that very well for a very long time, man. Like I said, I told Dane, because I first started prepping him for it, that was coming on. I'm like, dude, of all the product you've done, I'm telling you though, no, I've never seen a complete album so complete. So I'm glad I don't touch it. Like nobody touched it. Right? It's like up there with 4, and it's up there with Abbey Road, like in the style of the genre that you're in, right? So I could go on for that. Dane helped me out because all fanboy. Dane.
I wanted to go back. He said, so that is my favorite lyric that I've ever written as well.
Yeah.
I am the killer, free to roam.
Yep.
Dog cast a stone. I was going through this really weird struggle thing at the time where I was being really hard on myself. Growing up a Christian, there's a lot of different phases that you go through, and condemnation is one of them. And I felt a lot of condemnation at this time because I was growing up. I was turning into an adult. I was in my, early 20s.
Coming of age, yeah.
So it was this crazy time. And actually, I Cry is the song that I wrote the fastest of any song in my entire life career. I literally was sitting on my bed mattress on the ground at our manager's house, Mark, who I'm still friends with today. And I just kept going, and in about 10 minutes, I had most of the lyrics and everything, the whole song from start to finish hashed out. And it's funny that you say that. I was clearing out a storage when I was back home in Kansas City with my nephews. And my nephew Dannon goes, "Uncle Dustinn, what is this? It says The Becoming." And well, I can't say what it said on the CD. We got that. And I found the original. So I had this 8-track, this little recorder that, now we can record on our phones. But back then you had this tape. You had a tape that could convert to a CD player, and it was all this one big box, and you could like mix 4 tracks in there, maybe 8 if you split them. And I have the original vocal guitar, acoustic guitar. When I was sitting in my room, I recorded I Cried then, and it's almost how it turned out, which is crazy that you say that, because that was my favorite lyric too. I don't know why. It doesn't have a whole lot of meaning to me now, but
it's great
because like, it was such a pivotal part of life.
Oh yeah. It's like we always say, man, what our biggest vibe for this show is like, you're taking, people in real life, people are going through struggles. It could be addictions, it could be financial, it could be relationships, and you're finding a way, like, hey, I'm not judging it, I'm going through the same something myself as well. And that's what that really sums up is, hey, I'm going to cast a stone, I'm in the same boat as you in a different world. And that's so powerful, man. Like, we're all in this together, so I love that. We're gonna have to hear that Johnny Cash demo of that, man. You have to throw it out sometime. We can hear that original, man. The lost demos,
I was listening to it, and I think I can sing all right still. But back then, man, I was singing every day, and I was going, I can't believe this is me. And my nephews were like, we can't. What's going on here? So.
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. Dave, you want to go 4?
Yes. So now that you've taken us down that path and knowing what you can write, and I've listened to some of the stuff that Josh has brought to me. Now, what is going forward for you? What is the next maybe 6 to 12 months look like for you? Is there more writing going on, some more shows coming up, things like that we can look forward to?
So this project I'm in now, that I started a while back, and my buddy Ryan Wood is the drummer. It's just me and him. And I want to say we have probably 30 songs worked through, and I've probably got, and I'm not even exaggerating, dude. If I could show you my voice notes on my phone, there are thousands of half-finished songs, fully finished songs, fully ideas, part ideas. So I'm constantly working, but we always joke around because he lives in Seattle and I'm here in Nashville, and we see each other once a year, but we do all of our jamming and stuff over, the phone. back because we can do that now. But he's all the way out there and I'm all the way out here. So we literally just kind of record. We're trying to be the best band that no one's ever heard of.
Okay.
And because that never plays shows, you know, we'll play a show if there's a demand for it. But right now, you know, I had a kid and I just got married about a year ago, or actually right over a year ago. So life's totally different, but I mean, the love for the music doesn't stop, and I'll create as much as possible. The biggest problem we're running into right now is not content or songs or recording. It's just getting the songs out. It's pretty expensive now to do everything as organic as possible. You know, we don't want to use, you know, trigger drums, and we don't want to use drum samples, even though you have to a little bit. But you know, I want to plug into an amp and record into a mic, plug into a computer, and you know, that's just because it's not because it sounds any better. I mean, it sounds better to me, but it might not sound better to everybody else. It's the organic feeling. It's getting there, sitting in a room, fiddling with knobs. You know, oh, you got a bad cable, you got to figure out how to fit. You know, it's
experience.
The process of sitting there and playing the guitar and having feedback and incorporating that into what you're doing, instead of going, ooh, I can make this clean, and you're like, wah, and you just go through it. Magical, but it's not magical to me, because when I have to go and do that, dude, it steals all my creativity, because I have to learn how to get what I can create on guitar into a computer. You know what I'm saying? Like, just
I got you. Yeah,
it's all confusing. And
I remember the story, Dustinn. They were talking about, I don't mean to cut you off, but there's a story about like what you're doing, like the live, almost like the live vibe, right? Where you're recording live. They're talking about one of the guys, I think it was Caleb from Kings of Leon. So they would do albums intentionally live and like they'd be playing pool in the background. The guy is like the manager, and they keep the little sounds in there, like something about live feel, you know, like raw emotion, like just one take type stuff. So I think it's cool that you're talking about bringing that back, man. That's cool. You're gonna have to let us know when it comes out so we can drop some hints for it on the show, you know?
Sure,
definitely.
You know, we're definitely trying to keep it real. There's no lack of content. We're working on songs right now that we're about to start getting into the process of releasing. We're working on a video I've recorded. I got all the footage and did it all about a year and 2 months ago. And just the learning curve of having to sit down and relearn Logic, and you know, it's just, I wish I had more time. You know, I'm constantly making more time to do that, but it is something you have to choose to do. You got to sit down and learn this and learn this. If you're only two dudes trying to do this thing, my drummer is incredible. I couldn't ask for a better one. I played with him in Project 86 back in the day.
I saw that too, man. Andrew, I'm friends with Andrew too, man. It's cool. Like, it's good guys, you know. So
and I play Battlefield all the time. You know, he's my gaming buddy. But
by the way, Yogi says hi, man, because we've had Yogi on before too, and he just talks about how great it was you guys playing together. So, like I said, man, it's a tight knit. Usually, good people like yourself usually flock together, and we see that. So it's cool, man. I'm gonna take a minute, Dustinn. You're gonna laugh about this. We're gonna transition to a segment every episode. But if you've had a chance to listen to some of the others, we try to take a little bit of a different direction, and we bet on this. It's called rapid fire. This is the only part I don't give you any prep for. Okay, so and what we're gonna do it's rapid fire, man. So you got to spit something out. You can't not pick one. Okay. So
I'm answering questions.
Yep. These are rapid fire questions that we bet on. The audience loves this. Our audience is great, man. They give us, they're PG, but they give us weird stuff from the internet. They troll the internet to find things to ask you. You got to pick one. Okay. So.
Okay. Well, I don't troll anything. I don't my social media is slim to none, but yeah, let's do this.
So they're all good. I think this would be okay, but Dane, you got your picks? You ready? We bet on these.
We're ready.
So, okay. So first question. So out of the blue, you know, you got some time, studio work, you're asked on the spot, 2 people call your phone and you have to fill in as the lead guitarist for one of these 2 bands, and you have an hour to decide. They're both playing that night. Are you going with A, Bon Jovi, or B, Poison? Go.
Poison. Because
dang it.
Now I would want to play with Bon Jovi, but they're way too good. I know I can.
I got you.
wear shoes. Get out of here. That's
I got
easy.
you. Dane, did you have that one? I have Bon Jovi, man.
Yeah. I had Poison.
Okay, you got me on one
yeah.
day. Next one. So you're asked to. A lot of times you'll see those back in, especially in the early 2000s. There's a lot of like punk goes pop. A lot of those albums people would make, right, where they cover songs. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. So you're approached by a new record company. They want you to do a cover of one of these two legendary pop songs, and you got to make it kind of metal punkish, if you will. You get to choose between one of two. A, I Could Fall in Love by Selena, or B, Hero by Donna Summers. You got to make it a metal song. Which one are you going with?
Hero.
Okay. I can see you doing it. I need a hero. Oh, man, I had that one. Dane.
Actually,
I had that one.
I would slow it down and just make it way heavier.
I got you.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Maybe a demo, man, for the album, man. Let's make that happen, okay? Love it.
Maybe,
Next one.
maybe like a 3 or 4 minute guitar solo in that.
Yeah, there you go. Next one. Okay, so you're approached. A lot of creative questions. I know with you doing a lot of studio work these days. So I just got done watching this last night, so it's funny. You're approached to do a musical score, a little bit different direction, instrumental. Okay, no lyrics. You have to make a musical score for one of these two movies. The upcoming, because you saw it, there's going to be a G.I. Joe Transformers movie. So you either get to make the soundtrack for that or the upcoming sequel to the Power Rangers movie. Which one you go with?
I'm gonna have to go with G.I. Joes and Transformers, because I feel like I would be able to get a little bit more emotional with that, because I played with G.I. Joes and Transformers growing up.
I didn't have that one, man. I don't know. Dane, did you have that one?
Oh, yeah, I had that one. G.I. Joe, Transformers together. That's iconic.
Man,
I'm part of something iconic.
Some of the 12-inch G.I. Joes in the boxes.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I didn't have that one, man. You guys, Dane, I think I might owe you lunch if I don't bounce back. And I should know these, man. Okay. So next one, Dustin. I got two more rapid for you. So a lot of rock and really celebrities will sometimes do movie cameos and things like that. Okay. So one thing good about kind of goth metal in those formats, it's good for creativity and things even like cosplay and fantasy. So you're called upon to be a iconic villain in one of these two horror franchises. They're going to have you don the mask. They're just going to say, hey, you get to pick one of these two villains. Are you going with A, Jason Voorhees, or B, Michael Myers?
Oh, dude, that was fun. I'm going to go
pick
Michael Myers, just because of his mask was a little bit more terrifying than a hockey mask.
Got you. Dana had that one. Did you have that one in?
No, I had Jason. Jason's tough to kill, man. He doesn't go down easy.
They're both really tough, though, for sure.
Love it.
But
I got that one.
That one for sure.
Last one. So Dane, you're ahead of me by one. So last one, I'm hoping I can bounce back here. And I know what you're gonna pick. I know this one.
Okay.
So taking a step, you're putting the guitar down. Your phone rings again. So, all right, cool. You got done doing the Poison thing. Like, oh, he rocked it. So the next day, they watched your show on MTV, whatever. So you're called up to be the guest. We're going to go back in time a little bit. So we're going to go back to 2010, if you will. You're asked to fill in for a concert to be the lead singer for a night of A, Deftones, or B, Godsmack. Which one are you going with?
Hands down, Deftones. They're my top 5 favorite.
Got it. Good. Then would you have?
Godsmack can. I was never a fan of them.
I got you. Okay.
Just because I wasn't into them at all. Like,
That's your style.
They ever did for me. But man, Deftones, I would.
Got you.
I would do a lot. I would change a lot of things to even the merch guy for the Deftones.
I love it. Dane, did you have that one?
Yeah, I had a Deftones. Hard to go away.
Well,
from those
Dane,
guys, man.
I owe you lunch, Dane. You got me on that one, Dane. So there you go, man.
Yeah.
So
I'm getting close. I'm closing the gap on you. I'm pulling more and more even with each pass.
Yeah.
More W's. We've
I'm
been
way
going.
behind.
This is episode 130, and let's just say he owes me 100 lunches. Dustin.
Yeah.
So usually I get it.
Holy
All right. Yeah. All right, Dane. Last part, man. I'll get that back to you.
Yeah, Dustin, on this one, we call this our open mic segment. We kind of open the floor up to our guests to maybe tell our viewers, some of them skew a little bit younger, that aspire to be where you're at. Is there maybe like a a philosophy or a mantra you've carried with you through the course of your career that kind of helped you through some tough times or inspired you to write the things you do and be the best you can be, that you can maybe now pass that on to that next generation coming up that aspire to do great things?
Man, I would say just give yourself plenty of time to have alone time and figure out who you are and what you want to do. You don't have to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life, but do everything that you can. And when you find those things that you're pretty good at, just stick to it. Give it a chance. You got to give things chances before you can. You got to give things a shot before you just toss it out. A lot of people be like, oh no, I'm no good at this. Well, no one was ever amazing at everything unless you were some sort of savant or something, and that's just kind of rare. So I would just say keep trying, and when things don't work out the way you want to, try another option. That's the great thing about life, is you can pick up and change anything you want to. You can figure.
I love that.
It's tough.
Wow.
No one survives it. It's tough, but when you find something that gives you joy and brings you happiness, man, just stick to it. And then if that stops, find something else. There's too many things in the world you could be doing, man. It's too many.
Well, Dustin, I say this, man, and I had to, like I told Dane, I had to kind of pinch myself, and because again, I've been so inspired for a long time by what you do, and like you said, you've been successful with so many amazing artists, and I think it's interesting to see. I watch the people that you've been a part of, like you said, whether it's Becoming or with Yogi or Andrew. You always surround yourself with people that are in that mindset of you want to do something good in the world. You want to help someone. You don't want to judge people. You want to make people feel like they're welcome and they have a chance, in whatever format that may be, man. Like I said, it's so inspiring. Dana and I always say this generation of athletes and musicians is in great hands. Yeah. People like yourself lead the way. I can already tell you, I can't wait to hear your new stuff, because I know it's going to be great. If it's anything like what you've done, it's going to be inspiring. It's going to give us something that's going to be real. So I cannot wait. Please, when you get closer to having some demos out, let us know so we can showcase it and bring you and your friend back on. We'd love to have you on for a recurring episode, if you will. Okay.
So you guys heard the 3 songs you've already released, Suffer Cold?
I did. Yeah, it's cool, man. I love the format of it. It's good. I think it's going to be another smash album, man. I do. So yeah,
those aren't even making the album. Those were just releases that we put out. We've got a whole other set.
Oh, wow.
Those are songs that I pretty much wrote anywhere between 8 and 5 years ago, when I wasn't doing anything in a band or nothing. And then Ryan came in and just brought them to life. And we started, it wasn't going to be anything except for getting those songs out. And now we've got 30 plus other songs we're trying to release. So there definitely will be more.
Man,
oh wow,
it's gonna be great, man. I can't wait. So Dustin, in closing, man, I'll say this: thank you for, like I said, the timing. We wanted to make sure it was right. We want to get that chance to showcase you. Like I told you before, it's 23 different countries that we air on, so we wanted to give you some, the platform that you deserve, man. So let it be known this is the first of many. We will invite you back, and please say yes in the future. So
I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Keeping things alive. It's awesome. Appreciate it.
I love it, man. Well, Dustin, I'll be in touch. Yeah, man, I'll be in touch. I'll get this out as soon as possible. You're welcome to get back today. We'll be in touch very soon, and much love. And we look forward to showcasing the new content very soon. Okay.
Yeah.
So
take care. We'll see you soon.
Right.
Yes, sir. Take care, brother.
Hey, thank you.
Yes, sir. So, Dan, I'm telling you, man, I meant what I said, and we'll get him back to today. Just a great guy. What'd you think of him?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, whenever you hear people like that, artists like that, like he said, he's got so much content ready to go, and it just keeps pouring out of him, and you can hear and feel the excitement when he's talking about the thing that he loves, the music. So I love listening to people like that, and it's contagious, that kind of emotion. You almost want to write something yourself, even though if you don't have a music background, you might want to do a poetry, or you might want to go work on something, your craft when you hear somebody that positive and that enthusiastic. So it's great to hear things like that. And that's why, like I say, I love doing this and talking to people like that. It's great. I love it.
He said, figure out who you are. And that's a powerful thing, man. I think a lot of athletes say that too, and I'm telling you guys, go listen to it. I'll tag it. He's a great guitarist, but a relatable genius writer, man. It's crazy that, I'm telling you, I cry. It's a song that everybody can relate to. And like what I told you about, there's a line in the song where he's talking about, their main premise they've always said is, again, everyone deserves a shot. You should feel welcome. It's okay if you make mistakes, pick up and try again. That's been his theme for his entire musical career. It's just, hey, it's okay. Try again. Get back up off the ground, whatever it may be. You failed at that shot you took. Try again. Hit another ball. Right? Maybe you didn't make that guitar solo. Do it again. It's constantly talking about getting back up, dusting yourself off, and continuing. If you're still breathing, there's still a chance, if you will. So
definitely.
I love that guy, man. That was, I'm telling you, Dan, that was a 15-year anxiously waiting for that to happen type of a thing, man. So Dustinn, thank you, man. We love you. We'll make this the first of many. I'll drop the link to the band. Please, guys, check them out. One of the best, in my opinion, one of the best bands that's come around the past 20 years. Just great. So Dan, we got a few more today. So we got coming up next, we got some football talk. We've got Jordan, a wide receiver from Texas Tech, stopping by. Can't wait to get into it with this gentleman. A little later today, and tracking down one of our most favorite positive rappers. I've got Pedity stopping by. Love this guy. Positive thing, just keeping that going. Has a lot of good motivation to give and just a lot of good content. Him and his bandmate Verbs are stopping by. Both great guys. And then the nightcap's going to be Dan Johnson. If you don't know who that is, I'm sure you do. Plays for a couple bands you may have heard of called Red, Love and Death. And now that he's got a new project he's going to talk about. Just a stellar musician. So can't wait to have him on. So lots of content today, you guys. I'm just excited to keep the ball rolling. So thanks for being with us. As we always say, don't forget that we love you. And Dane,
thank you for listening.